أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. So the first thing inshallah we have today is the business case, and I'm going to leave you with it for a few minutes to read and then identify the weaknesses inshallah. It has 2 pages, so after 2-3 minutes the second page has a little bit more information. So look at the first page for a few minutes. After 3-4 minutes I will switch to the second page inshallah, and then we will discuss. All right, let me hear from you. Many problems, obviously. Tell me one. Somebody start us off with a problem that you see and a solution for that problem. Anyone there? Muhammad, tell me a problem you see in this situation. Sharat says the first issue is about making an appointment. Is that the first issue? That is an issue, of course. How did the guy answer the phone call? See how the person said, oh, these are all good issues. Muhammad says the furniture was dusty. Obviously, that is not good. Omar says Zainab had to wait 10 minutes. But what is the first issue? The clerk says, hello. And the phone rang multiple times before that, which can happen sometimes. But the clerk says, hello. Is there anything wrong with that? Yes, he did not identify himself or the company. He should say who he is, and he should thank the customer for calling the company, and then he should offer help, right? So he's very inactive. He's not reactive at all. He's not proactive at all. So to which business cycle does this problem belong to? The situation here, this entire case, belongs to uh, which business cycles? There's more than one cycle involved here. Where do you think the problem is? Human resources, right, is one. What is the other one? Revenue cycle is the other one. Very good. So these are the two cycles. So you see the whole situation is out of hand. There is no proper training of the staff. They're not helpful. They don't keep their promises. They don't know enough information to answer the questions. The customer service is poor. The customer waiting area is poor. And the manager does not have the authority to do in the absence of the cashier what the cashier does, which is a problem because the manager could have helped Zainab even if the cashier left. The cashier is irresponsible and they're giving false information to the clients. All of this, multiple problems, and they go back to training and customer service, right? Uh, if you go further back, you might find that there may be a problem with what affects customer service. How do employees affect the customer service? Let's see if anybody can remember. There is something when the employees are lacking, it affects customers. Anyone? You remember employee morale? When morale is low, it might affect the customer service, right? While there is no evidence of low employee morale, but this could be one of the reasons if you went back to see why the employees are not motivated to do a good job. It's definitely lack of training, but it could be also that the employees are not treated well either. So this could also be a case, right? All right. So what I'm going to do is I have obviously written this case and identified 10 issues that I injected myself. I'm not going to go over each one of them. You can read them, inshallah, and study the case again. With the other two cases, this will be available to you also later on today, inshallah. And you can study this case along with the other cases when you study for the final exam. What I would like to do is go over a brief review of how you should approach the different chapters that are included in the exam, and then tell you the format of the final exam. So let's look at the main areas of each chapter that you have to focus on. So the 4 chapters included in the final exam are the 4 business cycles: the revenue cycle, the expenditure cycle, the production cycle, and the payroll cycle. And each one of these chapters, when you're studying, you should focus on these 7 points. You should study everything that we studied, but you should keep in mind that you can separate these issues among the 4 cycles. So the first one is the primary goal of the cycle. What is the primary goal of each cycle? We studied this at the beginning of each cycle, and we discussed this. And you can go back to the videos. If you're not sure, you can ask me, you can ask your classmates, etc. Make sure you know what the primary goal of each cycle is distinctly, separately. And then each cycle has some main activities. For example, there are 4 in the revenue cycle. There are 3 in the payroll cycle. In the expenditure cycle, there are 4 in the revenue cycle. Yes. So go ahead and make sure you know which activities belong to which cycle and the details under each. Okay. Then in each cycle, there are certain decisions that are made: how much inventory to carry, or whether to deliver, or to get the customers come and pick up their material, whether to use an in-house accountant or a payroll service provider. So decisions that are made in different cycles, you should know what they are, and you should know which cycle these decisions are made. And then in each cycle, we discuss certain documents. For example, we have the sales order. In the revenue cycle, we have the purchase order. In the expenditure cycle, we have the payroll master file. In the payroll cycle. So make sure you know the documents, which documents are belonging to which cycle, and what is the purpose of the document, when it's used, in what stages it is used, what is the usefulness of the documents. And then we have possible enhancements with or without IT. So we discussed in every step how this step can be enhanced, how the activity can be enhanced. And in addition to what we studied, you also did research in Project A, and you're doing Project B, where you have studied in detail one particular way of improving the revenue cycle, one particular way of improving the expenditure cycle. So make sure you study that also, which will come in handy if you have to respond to a question in a case study type question. And we're going to talk about the type of questions in just a few minutes. Then we discussed the threats and controls near the end of each chapter, where there are certain things that can go wrong, and then certain things that you can do to prevent them from going wrong. Right? Make sure you study them and you know which threats are in which cycle. And then lastly, in some of the chapters, we studied information provided for decision making. For example, in the revenue cycle, we discussed the sales growth and the sales trend and the market share, things like that. We didn't do that in every chapter, but the chapters that we did that in, make sure you know and you study them, so that if there is a situation or a question related to them, you know, first of all, which cycle this is and what it indicates and how it helps, etc. Or, you know, if you didn't have that, how it would harm, etc. So is this clear what I'm asking you, how I'm asking you to study these chapters for the exam? Yeah, Hamza, go ahead. Do you have a question? Any questions on what I'm asking you to do here? Is it clear? Okay. Is this clear? You can watch this video as well. This will be posted, and then your exam is uh, more than a week from now, so there's plenty of time, inshallah. If nobody studied anything in the business cycles, they could watch the videos and learn and be a master in a week, inshallah, right? Spending a couple of hours for each chapter, 2 or 3 hours maximum, would make you very efficient and you know, very abreast on the material, inshallah. Okay. Now the exam, we have 30% of the grade in the final exam. Now 40% of the grade is still out there. We have the quiz, which is coming in 10 minutes, 2.5%. Then you have the project B, which is 7.5%, that's 10%, and then the 30% final exam. So if you did well so far, you still have a little bit to go, because if you didn't do well in the other parts, your grade could you know, change. And if you did not do well, you could do well in the following assessments, and you could improve your grade, inshallah. So there is time. You should make an effort to do well, inshallah. The chapters I mentioned are 12, 13, 14, and 15, the revenue cycle, expenditure cycle, payroll cycle, and production cycle. The format of the exam is the same as the midterm exam. There are 20 multiple choice questions, 15 marks, 0.75 for each, 10 true false questions, half mark each, and then 4 short answer questions, 10 marks. Is distributed 2 or 3 marks for each, and you should expect some scenario questions there, as well as in the multiple choices. The short questions will ask you specific questions about the scenario, about the situation. You won't have to identify many situations, but you have to answer a specific question, let's say about inventory or about production or about payroll. And you can answer these questions with a couple of sentences, or even in some cases a short sentence, but make sure you read and understand what the question is asking you before you answer. I have situations before where the student understands the situation but did not read the question carefully, answered something that the question did not ask, while knowing the answer if the student read the question correctly. So please read the question carefully and make sure you answer the question that you have in your exam paper, because there are multiple versions of the exam. Okay. The male exam is going to be on November 25th at 8 a.m. in room E108. And I'm going to email the special needs student the special needs room a couple of days before the exam. This is for everybody other than the special needs student. Exam is from 8 o'clock until 10 o'clock. So make sure you show up on time. You bring your ID, bring a couple of pens and pencils to write with. You don't need a calculator, don't need anything else. Okay? Any questions on the format of the exam, or when the exam is, or etc.? Anything like that? All clear? All right. Now, a couple of things before we leave. You have 4 total quizzes, including the one today. I'm going to leave all the grades of the quizzes in Blackboard for a couple of days, and then make sure you see your lowest quiz grade, whatever that quiz grade is, because that will be dropped. So if you have 4 quizzes and you made 0.5 in one of them, that is the lowest, that will be there for a few days, a couple of days, and then I'm going to delete that, leaving the 3 higher ones. All right? So make sure you see which your lowest is, and it will be dropped. Okay, inshallah. And I'm usually very careful in dropping them, so usually there are no mistakes. But, you know, if you see that I dropped a higher quiz, definitely let me know. All right? I would like to thank each and every one of you for being in this course. I enjoyed it, and I would have enjoyed it much more if we met regularly, but we only met once, and inshallah we'll meet again next week. And if you are in auditing too, and inshallah if we become face to face, our instructions go face to face again, inshallah, then I will see you all face to face, inshallah. Right? Jazakallahu khairan. Thank you for your kind words. And the auditing to course, just a couple of words on that, is very hands-on. It's practical, and there is a simulation in there. And I have excellent feedback from students in the past during the past 4 years. And uh, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, we published that simulation, which is now available globally to any university professor who can adopt it. It was published in the Journal of Accounting Education, Alhamdulillah. And the student feedback and the student comments were also published, a summarized version of it. And then we started in 2016 first time, and then we improved it in 17, 18, and 19. Sadly, we couldn't offer it in 2020 because it was a face-to-face simulation. We started a new simulation this year, which was an online, possible for us to do online. And we also have great feedback from that in the first round. And if you register, if we are online, you'll do the online simulation, and it is as close as possible as you can get to doing actual audit work. And usually the simulations, the students love the simulation, they learn a lot from it, and their grades are very, very good. And I think, we need to do more and more of this, inshallah. So if we're face to face, the simulation is even more fun. You will work like an auditor, inshallah. So if you register for auditing too, I look forward to seeing you there. And if you register for another elective course, inshallah, all courses are good, inshallah. No problem. I believe there is course evaluation this semester. There wasn't one last semester. So if you haven't completed the course evaluation, I need you to do me a personal favor, and that is, I need you to, as soon as you finish the quiz today, I need you to go and complete the course evaluation. All right? Are you listening to what I'm saying? Your comments and your feedback is very important to me. Okay, if you already did do that, I appreciate that. I'd like for you to put some comments in there, things that you think were helpful and should be done again. I need to know that. Things that we can improve on, I need to know that. I've been teaching this course for almost 10 years now. More than 1,000 students, I believe, have taken the course with me, and I read the comments very carefully, and I have made many, many changes. The students who were here 10 years ago are not the same as you. You are a different generation. You have different issues. You use different technology. Your lifestyle is different. Your preferences are different. Your likes and dislikes are different, and your learning style is different. So I would like to know what is beneficial for you, and I would like to adjust and adapt to the generation of the students that are going through my course, and not just stick to what worked 10 years ago, because that is foolish. It may not work with you, right? So I want to hear from you, and I have a continuously made adjustments, and I will continue to make, inshallah, as long as Allah gives me tawfiq. I will make that so that the students coming in my course find something that is fresh and applicable to them. So do me a favor, and if you are in another course with me, you will see the implementation of your comments, inshallah. So do me a favor, do a favor to the students who are coming next, and maybe to yourselves in the next course. Give me honest feedback on what is working well and what you think should be improved, right? I would like to hear from you. So write something in the comments, tell me details. All right? Can you help me with that? Can you do that for me? I need every single one of you to do this right after the quiz. Are you hearing? Are you listening to what I'm saying? Most students are perhaps not even listening. I need you to tell me if you're listening. Okay, very good, very good. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Jazakallahu khairan. Thank you so much. And inshallah, I will see you on the day of the exam. The quiz password is 2030. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.